Weird.
It's that time again, kids. Time for some Midnight's Edge After Dark. Welcome to the program. I'm Tom Connors. Hello, everybody. How are you doing out there? We have with us tonight Six. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully. Yeah, we're going to talk about Star Wars tonight. Yay.
We have some more Star Wars news. That's right. Also have Clobbering Times with us. How you doing, Clobby?
Oh, good. Good to be here. Thanks for having me, buddy. Hello, my friends on the panel, Lovely Six, and of course our good friends in the chat, ready to geek out on a Thursday night.
Indeed. I see so many already. I got Dr. Coffin Nails out there, Duck Nation, Sean Green, Nicholas Horton, Cigar Gangster. That's a new one. Never seen Cigar Gangster before, see?
See?
Oh, we see him now, see?
See now, see?
We got Davina Duckworth, SXHBKs out there, Wonky Man, so many more, Doba Fett. We even got Nick in the chat and on the panel. How are you doing, Nick? All 32 flavors of you.
All 32 flavors, indeed. I'm good. Happy to be here. It's been a very busy day for Nick Weiser, as per usual, but got a video out as well, so that was cool. And now I'm just ready to talk about the latest ongoing Star Wars news because it's a doozy. And hello, chat and wrenches and all the dudes and lady on the panel.
Indeed. We also have with us Price of Reason. How you doing, Price?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing the best I can. And last but definitely not least, Walt Wright since 1984, Mr. CC Karaoke. Have you dug yourself out yet?
Yeah, it's slightly less cold and the car is actually starting, so progress is being
Well, I'm glad
made.
to hear that.
My freezer stuff
about
is
you.
back in the freezer again. It's frozen properly, and yeah, doing all right.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
What is that from?
Oh, that's
Isn't the
from the
food that's
set of
spoiled?
Terminators. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale from Terminator Salvation. Yeah.
Oh.
When he was freaking out at the
Yep.
guy who was walking in his
Yep.
lights. He's like, do I come over there and mess with your lights when you're working? Be like, oh, do.
That's a good impression.
No.
I mean, hasn't
We're
everybody
done professionally.
got it work?
You're a nice
I know,
guy. You're a nice guy, but we are done professionally, mate. That's exactly what he fucking said.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Gosh, that
Oh,
was
it's a
funny.
classic.
I think Tom Cruise's meltdown was the best, though.
Yeah. We're
During,
saving Hollywood.
During the lockdown. Yeah.
It's better than his freaking Oprah Winfrey.
What was
freak
better
out.
was the mix-up. Did you guys? I'm sure we played it on here, but I don't remember who was on the panel at the time. Did you guys hear the remix of the two of those arguing
Like
with
the
each other?
mashup thing they did?
No.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't see that. I
Yeah,
gotta
it was
see
hilarious.
that. That sounds great.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
You better find it now, Tom. We got to see it or hear it.
I'm working on it. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple different versions here. I'm trying to find. I think that's it. Here we go. All right, let's try this one. There's a few of them out here now.
Can I have Tom put this on, please?
That's it.
You're unbelievable, man. You're unfucking believable.
And you, if you ever do it again,
What don't you fucking understand?
you're back there in Hollywood making movies right now because of us.
Oh, good for you. And how was it?
That's what I sleep with every night. So I'm sorry.
No, don't just be sorry. Think for one fucking second.
I'm on the phone with every studio at night. Insurance companies. Producers.
Are you professional or not?
We are the gold standard.
What the fuck are you
We are
doing?
creating thousands of jobs because they believe in us and what we're doing.
Hey, it's fucking distracting. Let's not take a fucking minute. Let's go again. And let's have you fucking walking in.
We are not movie
In the
down.
middle of the scene, then why the fuck are you walking right through?
Anyone on this crew, I bet.
fucking walk
You
around
do.
and
You
whip
do.
No, shut the fuck up.
If you don't do it, you're fired. Again, you're gone.
No,
Is it understood?
no, don't shut me up. Give me a fucking answer.
This
What
is
do you get about it?
That's it.
You do it one more fucking time, and I ain't walking on this set if you're still
So
hired.
you're going to cost him his job.
Fuck's sake, man, you're
No
amateur.
apologies. And they're looking at us and using us to make their
It's
movie.
the second time that he doesn't give a fuck about what is going on in front of the camera. All right? I'm trying to fucking do a scene here, and
I
I'm
don't
going.
ever want to see it again. Ever. I have told you, and now I want it. And if you don't do it, you're out.
Right, let's go again. Let's get Tom and put this back on. Let's go again. Seriously, man, you and me, we're fucking done professionally.
You good.
wow. That was
Nice.
amazing.
Oh God,
Yeah, that was one of the better ones. Yeah.
I'm Team Bale here.
No.
Personally.
Oh man, that was amazing.
Talk about egos.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
Like Tom's is a little bit weirder because it all had to do with the COVID thing. But
Mhm.
my understanding from the Christian Bale thing was it was the lighting guy who was acting all professional, and he was like making a bunch of noise, and he was off in their eye line messing with lights when they were trying to shoot a scene, which is kind of unprofessional for you're supposed to have that shit set up and ready to go before the scene starts shooting. So I mean, I can understand where Christian was probably getting pissy.
Yeah, but you don't. That's
You don't do
the
that.
way he was yelling is not professional. At least
Oh,
not
no,
in any
no.
profession that I've
He should
ever
have
worked
done it
in.
behind the scenes.
Right.
Yeah, he
Get
should
the
have.
director to handle it for one thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, should have took
exactly.
the director to the green room and said, "What the fuck is he doing?" You know, like,
Yeah.
But it
But
made for good
anyway.
entertainment for us.
it does,
Yeah.
and it helped us get the crowd in here because yes, hello everybody. We got some more people joining us. We see some more regulars out there. Thank you so much for being here. Hit that like button, share out the stream. I see Micah J's here now. We got Daryl Brewer here. I think he was here before anyway, but
Sporking.
Cartoon Man Sporking is here. Yeah, I saw
Sporking,
Scott in the
hey.
chat.
Hello, Sporter.
BLT is here. So many more people joining us. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. But yeah, as we said in the intro,
Those rants, by the way, Tom, are on a level with Casey Kasem.
I know, right?
This was maybe the
Gosh,
all-time
that was
classic.
the best.
Yeah, come out of a fucking dedication of
The fucking dog dying.
dog. Into a happy fucking, how many times? How many times? Just
Bill O'Reilly was up there too, with I think Casey, man.
the master of them all, though, is Orson. Peas. There's peas everywhere.
I hate peas.
Are we going to record this or not? So anyway, Ray. That's all we heard for the last few weeks. Not only that, now there's a report coming out that she may actually be in another movie.
Yay!
Levy movie.
Yay!
This comes from insider Jeff Snyder. Yes, that rhymes. The In Schneider, as he calls himself here.
Sean Levy's making a movie?
I guess this is news to me because it wasn't even in that announcement. But news of Levy's involvement did surface in 2022, November of, according to this, with the director confirming on his Twitter, though Levy's film is in development, it has not been officially named or dated by Lucasfilm.
Is this a good time to come out and announce that I'm making a Star Wars movie?
Yes, are you?
I just
What
got
is
off
it
the
about?
phone with Kathleen Kennedy right now, and she said you may as well make one too, since everyone else is.
Oh,
Lucas
well, then
doing
I
Netflix?
want to make one too.
There you go.
Come on,
Well,
Bobby gets to make one. I
Look,
don't. What kind
your
of crap
phone
is
was
that?
busy, so she called
You
me.
get a
That's-
trilogy, and you get a trilogy, and you get a trilogy, and
Yeah.
you get a trilogy. But here's the catch: they all have to have Ray.
She tried to call Nick, and he was busy on his damn phone, so I get the call. What are you gonna do?
I was already
Yeah.
fired.
And she said I could use, I could have Ray in it. By the way, I had to promise to put Ray in it, but that's the only thing.
You were already fired before you were hired. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Six.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, you're
really?
a
Oh,
woman,
damn.
so I mean,
Yeah, but you
But I'm
should have
white.
But
That's
Six,
the
if you'd have put Ray in it, you probably wouldn't have been fired. There.
well, this is also on the. There's some rumor going around that Rachel Zegler might also be in talks for a fucking Star Wars
Yeah.
movie. I'm like,
I
oh
heard about
please,
that too. I heard
I
Please
about
love
make
that.
reality.
I love that. Please make that happen. That's even better than the Ray
Weird.
movie. That's better
Right?
than the Ray. It's better than the Ray movie. that the internet will explode.
It's like the
in a way.
Hispanic self-insert of Kathleen Kennedy at that point.
So do you feel like Brie Larson feels, I don't want to say exonerated or vindicated, but maybe relieved that now she doesn't have as much
She passed the mantle on to Rachel Zegler.
the stigma of, you know,
Yeah.
the most unlikable bitch in Hollywood. Now like Zegler freaking said, "Hey, I got your throne now." Now Brie Larson's just like, she's now just a past memory now.
They should put her in the next one actually with Ray.
They should. They all do. Brie Larson and Daisy Ridley. Oh man, now you got Dylan Mulvaney in there too. Oh man, I love that. Dylan Mulvaney could be the Wookiee of the movie because he could just identify as one. Yeah.
Now seriously, if there's a movie with Brie Larson, with Ray, and with Rachel Ziegler, and all three of them are Jedis, with Chinoy directing.
Show me that movie, Price. I want to see it.
Not to be topped by the other news, there's even more Daisy Ridley Star Wars news coming out, and that is her reported salary for the new Rey movie. $12.5 million. Bitch be getting some fucking Robert Downey Jr. change. Is that all? Is that all?
I thought it'd be more than that.
No, that's a lot, dude.
Oh yeah, that is a lot for that honestly that she.
Considering she'd be lucky to get $1 million before that.
Oh, I thought you said she was signing with the Patriots, but it's Star Wars. Okay, taking Bill Belichick's
Patriots ain't got that kind of money either.
Yeah, Belichick's got fired, so I thought there you go.
That's true. They might have a cap now.
They already got a new coach. Sorry, go ahead.
This news is starting to feel like a reaction to the news that the movie was not happening. And I was like, no, that's definitely happening. And look at we have her salary for the movie, and she's going to appear in this other movie, and
well, good for her.
This
saved them pennies this time.
Than Solo. It's gonna make Solo look like a resounding success. It's gonna make Solo look like the freaking Titanic of box office success.
Well, the only way it's going to be successful is if it's 50 Shades of Rey, like Kitty Bear says here for €2.
50 Shades of Rey.
I think that's the only way that's ever going to work. And speaking of Kitty Bear, he's also been a member for 22 months. Thank you for that, Kitty Bear. We appreciate that. But yeah, 50 Shades of Rey.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, save them pennies, Daisy. Daisy needs to save them up. Just don't count on getting a lot of movies after that.
Rachel, I'll see someone posting in the chat. Ari Weichel Zegler, Rachel Zegler Palpatine.
Oh Lord! Watch her be some long lost sister. That'd be even funnier. The Palpatine sisters.
This is fun.
I think this all seems very desperate.
You think?
And from Kathleen Kennedy's end, it seems very desperate. And as for the salary of Rey, and this is actually one of the things that I can actually, from somewhat of my experience, say is, not that you need to be a professor to figure this out, but she's not going to have a million other roles. This is the part where her agents, managers, or whatever say, you want her in this movie, this is the payday.
Yeah, that's kind of the size of it, I'd imagine. She knew that this was her last chance at a big payday, so she took it.
She's not the best actress. It's not like from those Star Wars movies there's any kind of buzz around her. And we don't see her in a million movies when she is.
Well, she is pretty steady, but she was the one griping that she hasn't got any roles since Star Wars, which is bullshit, but yeah.
But not great roles.
No.
She's not on an upward trajectory. It kind of feels like she's petering off.
Right.
She's never had that thing. Look, here's the thing. People forget that when Star Wars and Empire came out, like Billy D. Williams was already a movie star, so he doesn't count.
Yeah.
Out of Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, and Mark Hamill, the only one who wound up becoming a movie star was Harrison Ford.
True.
Mark Hamill kind of went into obscurity. Carrie Fisher got into writing and producing and shit like that, more so in directing and whatnot.
He didn't become a big one until Raiders. So he was big in Star Wars, but then
but Raiders, I'm just saying is that after
you're right.
Yeah, but after Star Wars, he is the only one who had any real success. Yeah, and again, here's the same thing. I would not expect much more out of this new cast.
No, they don't have
Adam
much
Driver's the
influence.
one who's going to be the movie star. Sorry, kids. Like, that's just the way it is. He's going to be the closest thing to a movie star we're going to get.
Yeah,
from
we don't
this
really
group.
have those anymore, but he might be close
Yeah.
to her for sure. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's the only one who's going to have a steady career. He'll get Oscar nominations down the road at some point.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada.
True. She better count her pennies and make,
Which is
save
funny
up.
because when they first hired him, I'm like, oh, I can see it because I kind of compared him to a young Harrison Ford in a way.
This is not just Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy. Well, I won't say Kathleen Kennedy's, but Bob Iger's last ditch effort. But this is really Daisy Ridley's last ditch effort. Because if you remember 2 or 3 years ago, she said she was done with this character because it seemed like she wasn't pleased with how the movies were handled. She was making it. So she's definitely got to be in a very desperate position to reprise the role of this character because she was not optimistic about playing this character a few years ago. If you guys remember, I don't know how far out there it got, but the articles that got out there, she seemed very certain about that. And obviously,
I think
she's
she
not the
held out
first
for this
celebrity-
payday, Nick.
And
That's what she
maybe
was
that's
doing.
what it was. So I mean,
Yeah.
she's not the first celebrity to go back.
She's
on
like,
her
you're gonna have to
word.
add a few zeros to that before I fucking decide to suit up again. Probably.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. She's definitely desperate because she was talking about how she was done for, didn't need them.
Unless this 12.5 is for like a trilogy and an appearance in that Sean Levy movie. Yeah, like this is
How many, man, all these movies, I can't keep track of it. There's a Sean Levin movie, a James Mangold movie. There's now the Jon Favreau Mando movie on top of the Dave Filoni Mandalorian movie, the Ray movie. There's supposed to be the Game of Thrones trilogy, the Taika Waititi movie, the Patty Jenkins movie. I feel like I'm still missing some. I've lost track.
Oh, there's plenty more. Well, the Benioff and Weiss one's been dead for quite a long time, but some of the other ones are like Schrodinger's cat. Yeah, like the Taika Waititi project, the Ryan Johnson project.
Josh Trank.
What was that?
Josh Skank had one, remember?
That was a long time ago. Oh, you're talking about one?
Guy?
Like, there's a bunch of them that have been canceled already. Like, those we know are no longer happening. But there's a few, like I'm saying, that are still kind of up in the air. And I hate bringing up the Ryan Johnson one, but we still have never had anybody officially say it's dead, right?
True.
But like the Patty Jenkins one, the Josh Trank, the Benioff Weiss, all those guys, their stuff has been long dead for a while. But yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Good for Daisy. You think they'll be able to suck in some of those other people that said they
She might actually make more money than the movie itself makes.
Mm-hmm. Some of those people who also said they weren't going to do it were like, what's it, Oscar Isaac never wants to do another one, but will they get him back?
Yeah, I wonder. And Boyega as well.
Boyega,
Yeah, he was
I'll
never
never do it again. They'll get him back.
Maybe that's why they need Zegler.
Weird.
I'm never gonna get that.
They'll get him back. Those two guys.
That's what I meant. Anyway, 6, you've been awfully quiet. What's your reaction to all this Star Wars Ray news? Since you're the big Star Wars fan on the panel.
60.
Maybe she stepped away. Did she say
She'll be
BRB?
back.
Oh, she did say BRB. My bad. Anybody else got anything to say about this? CC, you've been kind of quiet too. And CC probably said BRB.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I just hit the wrong button.
Oh, okay.
I was just we were talking about Ryan Johnson, and it was running through my mind. It's like, does anybody notice that Ryan Johnson and Dave Filoni have a really, really similar want to punch it smile? If you put their grins next to each other, they're almost identical.
Well, a lot of the people involved with Locust Film make me want to punch them in the face, but I don't know.
That's true too.
But yeah, I see where it comes from. I mean, it's definitely.
Yes, indeed.
Indeed.
See Jonas in the chat. I sent you a link if you're not busy. But yeah, so it seems like one way or another we're going to get Ray. So that being said, we got New Zealand Greg, who's been here for a year. Happy anniversary, NZ Greg. I always do that to you. It's not New Zealand Greg. It's just NZ Greg. I don't know why I do that. Because I'm me. I guess that's why. But speaking of Tom Cruise, I should have just segued into this earlier. there's some changes going on with Mission Impossible here. Dead Reckoning gets Paramount release date and drops the part 1 from the title. Kind of an interesting move. So you can
Maybe
find
something
it.
they should have done from the start.
I don't know. I really don't know about that. I don't think that's part of the problem. But it looks like January 25th it'll hit Paramount Plus, and they'll be dropping the part 1 part. The slight name change reflects the fact that the next movie was originally supposed to be a direct follow-up called Dead Reckoning Part 2. The title is changed after lackluster reception to Dead Reckoning Part 1 in October. So yeah, I guess they're taking that into consideration here. Hello, Mr. Campbell.
Hey, man, it's been a long time since I've been on a stream with you.
It has.
Tom.
How you doing?
Doing all right. I'm working on thumbnails here for a bunch of stuff for the weekend. So I am working, but I'm able to be here. So thank you very much for the invite.
Glad to have you. First of all, what's your reaction to this Paramount Mission Impossible news, and then we can jump back into the Star Wars stuff if you want.
I didn't actually end up going to see Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning in theaters, but at the same time, these have kind of become this semi continuation of stories anyways. I don't know. Does it end on a big cliffhanger at the end?
Not really.
Sort of ish, but not really. Like, I mean, kind of.
It's just funny to me that the Fast franchise and Mission Impossible make almost the same mistake at the same time here. But this movie also, it was shot during COVID. I think they moved heaven and earth to get this out of here. In my opinion, this might be the straw that broke the camel's back as far as Tom Cruise and Paramount getting him over there to Warner Brothers. So I don't know. It might be more than this film that's at stake here.
Well, all right.
Nobody's talking. I can keep talking about
No, I agree with you. They made the same mistake.
Don't everybody talk at once.
People maybe I guess people don't want to go to a movie now that they think that it's already a commitment for a second movie. You're basically telling them you're not just going to pay for a ticket now. Now you're not going to get a resolution, and then you're going to have to watch another movie. And maybe people just don't have the patience for that. There was a time with those kind of Hunger Games and Harry Potter, they could pull off those kind of maneuvers, but I think that the audience just isn't receptive to it now.
I think you're right. And I think about Twilight making 2 movies out of their last book, or did they talk about it, or did they just
I think they did it. I think they did. Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2 or whatever it was.
Yeah, proving that you can, in fact, milk a vampire, apparently. I think Aquaman and things like that we might be reaching the end of this idea that you need to sell 12 movies with one. Unfortunately, I think like James Gunn over there at Warner Brothers is going down this weird path here where he's putting everybody and their mother into Superman Legacy, and they're letting these things leak out to try to say, hey, this is going to be awesome. Look at all these characters we're going to have in here. And I think the audience is getting jaded. Very good point, Price of Reason.
And they'll probably all be in there for a total like 2 seconds each.
But
like their big appearances. Yeah,
Blobby, let's be fair here. That would be the preferable option because this should be a Superman movie,
exactly.
Not a movie where everyone is
Agreed.
a hero. It gets to have a moment of being a hero. We need a Superman movie that is focused, centered around his character, and it should be about him. The other characters of the Justice League or whatever, or if they're just other characters who are just hanging out there, they should have a cameo appearances, ideally at best. Because the more I see that they're adding all these heroes on, it's like, yeah, sure, they don't look bad as far as the appearance of the casting, but it feels like it's just going to become a movie where it's another team movie and not a Superman movie. And that's really driving me up a wall because from my few friends who, let's just say, still read Marvel and DC, I hear every book nowadays, even the quote unquote better ones, they're all team books, even the ones that are not promoted or titled as such. And we're now seeing that with all the MCU shows. Everything now is a team effort. I want a Superman versus a bad guy movie.
Kind of not surprised this sumbitch shows up when we're talking about Mission Impossible.
Ray. Mission Impossible. I haven't seen anything about Peter. What's the guy's name on the old show? Yeah.
Welcome back, Culture Casino. I didn't know you knew how to get here.
Peter Graves.
I found the link. I have dinner coming, but I wanted to pop on because you guys were talking about my favorite character, Ray.
Oh, we just lost 6.
She doesn't love me anymore. She had to go because I was here. She's mad at me.
While I'm making thumbnails over here for Pro, I think that the AI bot that I'm using to make thumbnails is thinking I've got a little crush or something over here as I say, no, Daisy Ridley doing this. No, Daisy Ridley doing this. It's a weird little niche we've ended up here covering Disney.
I love it. And you know what I love more? Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
I figured that's why you showed up.
Consistently better movies.
It was a great show, yeah.
Well, it was a good show as well. Indeed, Clobby. I love
it. They made movies? Since when?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. You know, what's really weird is a lot of people really enjoyed the third one, and I still think it's the weakest of them all. So
is that the first one with JJ?
Yep.
I don't probably
that one sucks.
Yeah. But honestly, I mean, I'm looking forward to Dead Reckoning Part 2, and I'm looking forward to so much more. I'm looking forward to the Tom Cruise deal over at Warner Brothers, which I'm really excited about. I don't know about the rest of you.
Yeah, dude's getting an office on the lot. I'm looking forward to Paramount getting bought by Warner Brothers. Tom, were you the first one to say that was probably what was going on?
Yeah. Thank you for acknowledging that.
Yeah.
Somebody listens. Jonas does.
I try to. Not very good at it.
Yeah, no. I was hearing, weirdly enough, it actually came more from the CBS side of things. I was hearing Zaslav was hovering around CBS mainly because he wanted the sports. And then we heard about the cash offer from Skydance. We've heard nothing really since. You would think if that cash offer was something Sherry Redstone would be interested in, she would have taken it. But I don't think it was enough. And we have a Mikey. Olay.
Hey, there better be nice stuff being said about Tom Cruise on this show and Mission Impossible.
Tom Cruise.
I hadn't even gotten started yet.
Unfortunately, yes.
Olay.
Tom Cruise came by and fixed that one loose board in my deck. He's a very nice man. How in the world am I on a stream here where I get Culture and Mike and Tom and Price of Reason and CC Karaoke and Budweiser? Sorry, Nick Weiser. Sorry, Nick. I don't know why I said that way. And Kalabi. I mean, what a wealth of people that we have here. Have you guys talked at all about the situation at Disney? Because my mind is blown today on that, by the way.
So yeah, tell me about
hear about it.
So what you're talking about is the Nelson Peltz deal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let me bring this up here because I actually have the video for you.
Yeah, what's the latest update? I'm curious. What did I miss?
I got it right here, actually.
So Disney files what's essentially a proxy statement. They call it the preliminary proxy statement, where they're getting ready to. This I love this video. It's so good.
Ooh, do show.
There it is.
Watch or
it's all brilliant.
It's 7 minutes long.
I mean, listen, I feel like it's deja vu because we had this conversation with you a little over a year ago when you were trying to get on the board, and then you decided not to. And they're saying the same thing they said then, too, which is they question the relevant experience that you have in terms of the entertainment and media business and why you would add anything. They, of course, say that they have an incredibly well-stocked board of people who are fully capable of holding the management team accountable.
Live.
And again, what's the plan? Like, other than saying they got to do better, what's the plan?
David, you asked it just like I want.
I love it.
I mean,
love it.
First of all, this board, from Bob to every independent director, has underperformed the S&P on every measure. 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. How much more do we have to go? How long do we have to continue to suffer with this great board? By the way, they said I have no media experience. I don't claim to have any. But I would tell you, I don't think they have much media experience. They broke a record this year. Do you know that the last 5 movies in a row will lose?
Wait,
Now,
pause it right
Last
there.
5 were losers. Did you hear that? Pause. The last 5 movies they released were losers. Go, Nielsen. Go. Get him. Get him.
Whoever the announcer is needs to shut his mic off while Nelson's talking, though. That background noise is really distracting. But anyway, continue. Yeah.
Yep, there's a funny moment there where there's applause in the background. Look at that chart right there. That orange graph is the S&P 500. That's the market right there, and how the market performs. And the blue is Disney and how Disney has performed. So if you just invested in the market,
both Disney and the market were collapsed in COVID in 2020, right?
yes,
Right.
yes,
I
that's
see
what
that, yeah.
that's what that little spike downward is, valley.
Sorry.
And then everybody came out of it, and Disney did well there in 2021. Guess who was CEO then? It wasn't Bob Iger. And then everything starts going down the crapper.
I'm officially adopting after this video. I saw this. I'm officially adopting Nielsen Peltz as my cracker financial uncle.
Experience.
I love
want a guy
I love how sorry. So I was just gonna say I love how he opens this too, because he's complimentary rather than combative. He's very good at this, right? You see it throughout the interview. It's like you ask. I love how you asked that question. He's being very complimentary to the host, but at the same time, he's very well prepared, right? Like he's going on the attack.
He looks like a pissed off dad right now, too.
But he's not attacking the host, right?
You know, when dad gives you that "I'm very disappointed in you" look.
You mean the look that I have almost constantly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To suffer
Well
with
stated,
this great
Tom.
board. By the way, they said I have no media experience. I don't claim to have any. But I would tell you, I don't think they have much media experience. They broke a record this year. Do you know that the last 5 movies in a row were losers? Now, if that comes with media experience, I want a guy who doesn't have a media experience. So David, let's deal with facts. The company has underperformed. I made a run at them last year. They promised they were going to improve things. I took them at their word. Things got worse. The stock went down. Results got worse. Okay, so no more. I can't continue to give them more opportunities.
Understood.
And I
Although,
love
to be fair, don't you need to be fair to compare it to the overall entertainment group? I mean, this is a unique period in time in which, as you well know, there are headwinds and changes that are generational in terms of trying to deal with the move to direct-to-consumer and make it profitable. So, comparing to the S&P may be a bit unfair, don't you think?
Oh, really? I mean, that's what shareholders of buy stock compare it to. David. But that's a good point. I mean, look at Netflix.
Hit pause. Wait. Did you hear that? Did everybody catch what he just said?
He's like, oh, really? Because he's talking about this chart.
Yeah.
Where they're almost in some, in simpatico or whatever the word is, up until, or not this one, the one that, this is the one, from 2020. Because up till 2020, everything was pretty close in line. Then all of a sudden, shit just veers off into a weird fucking downward spiral between 2021 and 2024 compared to the S&P. Like, how are they not comparable?
So he shuts his mouth for long periods of time. I mean, 6 months at a time, Nelson Peltz will be quiet publicly. And so he goes on CNBC, and David Mears, the same guy who gave Iger a hard time in some of the other clips that we've seen. That famous one where he, I'm not looking to sell ABC, but I'm here among all these people who might be looking to buy ABC, but I'm definitely not looking, except that everything's on the table. Oh dear, what shall I do? And David Mayer was there for that interview where he said he was essentially had everything up for sale. So he did give Iger a hard time there, but I feel like a lot of the questions he's asking Peltz are pretty much what Iger would have said to him. You're talking about secular headwinds. What that means is the market itself is changing as we go to streaming, as opposed to people showing up to movies.
You know what secular headwinds are to me? We call those Bob Iger excuses.
Yes. It's all the problems that everybody has, so therefore I need to have an excuse for it.
Secular, it's intergenerational headwinds. We'll call that Bob Iger egotistical moronic decisions. That's what I'm going to call it. Sorry.
Headwinds and changes that are generational in terms of trying to deal with the move to direct-to-consumer and make it profitable. So, comparing to the S&P may be a bit unfair, don't you think?
Oh, really? I mean, that's what shareholders of buy stock compare it to, David. But that's a good point. I mean, look at Netflix. Netflix last reporting period did $30 billion in sales, 20% margin. Okay. Then you have Warner's. They did $30 billion in sales and media with a 20% margin. Disney, the big daddy, did $50 billion in sales, a 6% margin. Now, that's the competition. Those are the guys who are all suffering through a change from features to streaming. Some have been able to cope with it beautifully. Plus, this company, Bob said it in 2015 and 16, that streaming was a real issue. It was coming. It was here it was going to continue to grow. He said that back then. And then what happened? They did nothing. And look what happened to ESPN. The crown jewel of Disney continued to lose subscribers, lose value, and now they're negotiating deals for ESPN out of total weakness. They could have made deals on ESPN in 15, 16, 17, 18 when they saw the streaming thing coming. They said it directly and did nothing about it.
They missed that, but
Okay, so for those who aren't up to speed with this, Jonas, real quick, or Culture, who if he's still here, whichever wants to take a lead on that. The whole ESPN deal and the deal they have made now that basically was out of desperation. That's what he's talking about there.
Right. So ESPN is no longer negotiating from a place of strength. Let's start with the NCAA. I think they're paying 4 times as much compared to what they paid for the NCAA last time for 8 years of exclusivity. The NBA, they're making a deal with the NFL right now. They're probably going to have to give up part of the company in order to secure the rights to the NFL. That can be advantageous to them long term. They're probably also negotiating with the NBA. So every one of these large sports networks, in order to keep them in-house with them, they're going to have to give away a slice of ESPN, which they don't own ESPN outright. They share it with Hearst Media, which owns 20%. So they're essentially divesting shares of ESPN in order to make these deals with large players. It can be a good thing because they'll hold on to that content, but at the same time, they could have done this a while back. They could have secured these for a longer period of time, and they're going to launch another streaming service. And I don't know how deep into this we want to get, but Disney Plus and all the losses that they've incurred in trying to build Disney Plus, they're essentially saying they're going to do that again with ESPN direct to consumer, a $35. Culture said on a stream the other day, a $40 streaming service. They're going to try to do that same thing again and take shareholders on another ride. And Peltz is saying, you knew this was coming. You should have been prepared. And I agree with him.
Culture, anything to add to that? Good talk.
But you do get a flavor of what Disney feels about the person you'd like to have on the board beside you, Mr. Rizzullo. It does sound like he was a stalking horse for the largest shareholder, Mr. Promoter. I don't find that wrong, but they do make it sound like that's something wrong there, and that Bob Iger broke Mr. Promoter's heart when Mr. Rizzullo was basically passed over, I should say. Is Mr. Rizzullo, is he better than, does he know more than, James Gorman about the entertainment business?
At Disney?
But
Sure.
by the way, James Gorman
James.
is the CEO of Morgan Stanley. So he's a bank guy. So yes, he does know media on some level, but he's a banking guy. So I don't know why his experience in media is relevant to this conversation.
Because Kramer's a freaking moron and an idiot and a Disney shill who, by the way, when the price sucked, he said buy more and it went down in the 70s.
Inverse Kramer.
Disney? For sure. I know James. I don't know how many times James has been to the park. I don't know what experience James has with Disney. And oh, by the way, James, who I like very much, was given a board seat. He didn't have to have a plan for the company. He did not.
Do you have a white paper that I can see? Do you have a white paper that I can see?
Hold it. He didn't have to set a goal for the company. He got invited on the board.
Okay, so pause it.
And I've got to go through.
So this is something I'll be going over. I think 10 p.m. tomorrow night. I'm going to have a live stream going over these proxy materials. Nelson Peltz comes in with a white paper very early on, according to previous statements that have been made about him and how he operates. So there's a white paper that exists out there. If it looked foolish, I think someone from the Walt Disney Company board probably would have released it. It's probably pretty insulting to them from their own hubris. Sorry, as Mike likes to say, hubris. It's basically his plan for changing things at the company. Meanwhile, Disney has maintained that Nelson Peltz hasn't said anything of strategic value to them. He just, quote unquote, wants a board seat, as if it's a vanity thing. And we all know now that the dude controls 10% of the company at this point. His shares have grown. His personal shares in the Disney company have grown. He personally owns 7% of the Walt Disney Company. Sorry. Personally is off there. Trian and his partners all own 7%, and then there's Perlmutter's shares on top of that. So he deserves at least 1/10 of any board seats, because it's the job of the board to protect the interest of the shareholders. So,
all right, keep going here.
These bells and whistles. Hey guys, I'm the largest shareholder in this company. The largest independent. Listen to me.
I want to come
I'm
back
the
to that for a
largest
second, Nelson.
shareholder in this company.
But are you? I mean, like Perlmutter is. I still don't
Oh,
fully
really?
understand.
Really? Let me ask
Let me ask
something.
the question. Because I am curious about this from a fund perspective. Right, you know, 25+ million of the shares that you are voting, so to speak, are Ike's, and then Trian owns, my understanding, is 7+ million. What's your relationship with Perlmutter? Is he paying you? Are you getting fees somehow? Like, you're doing an awful lot here that really wouldn't seem to actually add the economic value for Trian holders, given your relatively small ownership of Disney when you take out Perlmutter stock.
David, I am thrilled you asked that question.
There it is again.
Thrilled. Okay.
No, he's
Because
not. He's
every
insulted,
fund
but he's going to
around
answer the question anyways,
has
because that's an insulting
Whether it's
question.
a pension fund, doesn't make a difference. Whether it's a sovereign fund, and whether it's a bunch of individuals. What the hell is the difference? It's money. These guys want to make money. That's why they give money to funds. We just saved one step. Ike Perlmutter gave us some shares. He said, hey guys, you figure it out. I don't want to come back to the company. I don't want to be an officer. I don't want my job back. Okay. I just want to make money on my stock, because, oh, by the way, when I'm gone, it's all going to hurt.
Right, but that's not Trian fund money that went into buying his stock. You didn't buy it from him. He's lumped it in with your ownership stake.
David, what's the difference if a guy gives me a check or he gives me shares? I have the full right to vote it, to do whatever I want with it. What's the difference than if CalPERS gives me $100 million or they give me shares in a company? There's no difference. It's all under my control.
So here's the thing. At this moment that he's arguing here with David Muir on CNBC, he has he has 10%. He has $17 billion worth of shares under his control at that exact moment. So he's not correcting him on the amount of shares that he has, and we've seen the documents. The dude has all of the arguments that Muir is making are based on a false assumption. He has more shares than Perlmutter, no question at all. So I like that he smiles and says, I'm glad that you asked that question. So he's not getting into the petty small things here. He has an answer for almost everything that Iger would throw at him, that David Muir would throw at him. They say, you don't have media experience. You don't have experience in how the Disney company works. Well, Jay Rasulo was CFO of the Walt Disney Company, and he's his nominee for the board. So let's answer that question. He says, oh, well, no, you don't have an invested interest here. You're just using Perlmutter shares. Okay, well, let me raise my stock by I want to say triple what it was in the past. So I would say that that Peltz is just getting started. And by the way, the Restoring Magic, I think is actually the name of the website, is back up again, and they're starting an advertising campaign. The more SEC filings indicate they're activating on all the different social media platforms, including Reddit, which that's funny that they're going to China's platform in order to advertise a takeover of Disney. But I think they're just getting started.
Well, that
I
actually
didn't
looks
know
like it
about
was
that.
part 2 of the interview, but yeah, go ahead, Cece.
An advertising campaign, like they're going to advertise to the general public?
Yeah, this thing, you got to understand the context of this thing. Yesterday, so Disney drops his proxy statement. Today, Peltz drops his, and what does he immediately do? Goes straight to CNBC. This thing is on like Donkey Kong.
It looks like they cut him off at the end there too, and there is no more to that unless it went on longer on television. They just didn't share it all.
They paywalled a bunch of it over on CNBC Pro. I haven't gotten to watch it yet.
Yeah, because there's two parts of it here. Like one's 7 minutes, one's 4 minutes. The other part's just the intro, leading into what we were just seeing there. So you didn't really miss much from what I skimmed through here. But no, it's this is something that needs to be addressed, and I'm glad somebody's finally addressing it in public, whether it be Nelson Peltz or somebody else who was higher up in the, in the rankings of the financial world, or somewhere at Disney, or somebody close to Disney. It'd be nice to see somebody else back him up. Because I got to imagine there's a lot of other people like George Lucas and a few others who have a lot of interest in Disney that are watching a lot of their money just go away. Although we still figured George is better off than he was when he first got the stock. He still watched it go down in half worth after it reached a high there. So I mean, in less now. I mean, it's going down as we speak. But yeah, so interesting observation. In Culture, you're muted, but I asked you about the ESPN thing earlier, and you.
Oh yeah, no, and well, what's funny is so Jonas and I were talking earlier, or I guess yesterday morning. Gosh, has it that been that long, Jonas? We were talking early yesterday morning before we did a video, and we watched a double shoulder event with Disney happen where their stocks started to tank. So if you pay attention to how things trend and track, in the market, it was really interesting that they went from that 90, that what is reported in the Restoring the Magic PowerPoint that was submitted to the SEC. They were trading at that $95 range, and they dwindled all the way down into the $91 range. In fact, at the point in time that they posted that, it was $95.56, which it's pretty high. But I think as of yesterday when it closed, I think it traded down to 91.20 something. I haven't had a chance to check on it since close today, but it doesn't do well. And my argument is, and maybe other people here will support me, all of these announcements that we've been getting in quick order and short order have been kind of forced, which is why they are all so incomplete and incomprehensible and unbelievable and many other adjectives, is because we have the quarterly call coming up and they are desperate to find some kind of good news, even though it isn't really, because Disney is a habit, and we all talk about this, of announcing things that never come to fruition. And ESPN they're really putting ESPN at risk. Imagine selling off 5 or 10% of ESPN to the NFL. Then you do the same thing to the NBA. Then you do the same thing with Major League Baseball. Then you deal off 3 to 5% to the NHL. Then you're down to the National Ping Pong League at some point, trying to make sure that you're not paying for additional television rights just to have access to the content that you so desperately need. That's really what these deals surmount to. Let me know if I'm wrong, if I've said anything incorrect, but I think from from an observational point of view, somebody who looks at the big picture, Disney recognizes the trouble they're in. They also, and as Pelt said in that interview, the ESPN part of this thing, they had so much strength in 2017, as Pelt said, and now they're in a rough position with some real rights deals that they don't have the money for.
What's interesting is I don't know if it was in this interview or a different one that Peltz calls ESPN the crown jewel of the Walt Disney
Company.
Company.
The one you guys were just covering, because I've been through that one a couple times now.
So we usually call the parks the crown jewel, because the parks used to be. I mean, he's right. He's absolutely right. When I was doing my coverage, it was around 2019. And media networks was the most profitable segment of the Walt Disney Company. Film and television was about 20% of what the parks were doing. And then media networks was on top of that. And the largest, most profitable segment was ESPN. So if we're going back to the olden days, yes, ESPN definitely was the crown jewel. It's been so long since I've considered it that, though, because of the way that Chapek ran the parks. Of course, we're now seeing some of the problems with the way that Chapek ran the parks. Of course, under the direction of Bob Iger. I'm not trying to discount that at all. But never really had an interest in sports or sports coverage. But it seems like it's going to be the only thing that saves them here, if the parks continue how they are.
So, Mikey, let's hear what you got to say on all this business. You've been kind of quiet for a bit here.
I was waiting to get called on, sir. Well, I think
you're called upon now.
I think the fight is just beginning. I went to bed incredibly pessimistic. I went to bed a little bit pissed. that I read the proxy statement cover to cover. I don't know why, but sometimes before I go to bed at night, I read crap like this. And I woke up to Jonas's text, and I was like, yeah, I was sitting here waiting. I woke up, I went to go see a client, I came back, Jonas texted me, and then I'm like, what the hell is this? All right, let's take a look. And then I read the damn thing cover to cover, and I was like, oh, snap.
Because I don't know if we even mentioned it, as we expected, they denied his request to be on the board. That's kind of why he's in a pissy mood to begin
They
with.
denied it. They denied everything about it. In fact, equally surprising, they in their proxy statement, they basically used the language to all of us shareholders that our board, meaning like Bob's board, they keep calling it our board in the proxy statement. So it was incredibly annoying. But I think what's happened here is that, like Jonas said, you do the math, and it adds up to more than 10%. That means he controls the voting block greater than Vanguard, greater than BlackRock, not Vanguard and BlackRock together, but this shareholder meeting doesn't even happen until April. So he's letting the hammer drop now that right now he has the largest single block, and they're denying him board seats. And anybody that owns 10% of any company this size and doesn't have at least 1 or 2 board slots, when right now the freaking board of directors doesn't own what total? I think the total value of all their stock right now is what, Jonas? 15? What do they have? 15 million shares, give or take?
I have no idea. Jonas is sharing something here, though.
Jonas, stop talking to me. There it is.
I think you're muted, Jonas, if you're talking.
Yeah, sorry. This is what we were going through this morning: $17.1 billion worth of shares, depending on what the stock price is. Of course, if that value goes down, that 15 million is also less than 15 million. All of these ones I've marked in column D. If you all want to look there, those are the ones that this is just Peltz right here and his different funds. Collectively, 7% of the company is under Peltz's control. This is Peltz's personal stock right here, not Tran, just him. And then these are all Perlmutter funds right here, totaling just under 3% of the company. They were, again, shaking in their boots when it was Perlmutter. We were all wondering, okay, well, are they going to do something now that the largest individual shareholder of the company has this many shares? This is corporate malfeasance for the board of directors to be ignoring Nelson Peltz at this point. If you control 10% of the company, you deserve a spot on the board. You deserve 10% of the board seats. It's no question in my mind. And Valiant actually helped me clean this up. If a deaf blind monkey has 10% of the shares of your company, you better stock up on bananas. I mean,
but they're not obligated to give him the seat.
Well, they technically could go through a process in which the board says we don't want to give you a seat. But if they are doing their fiduciary duty of serving the shareholders, they can't ignore 10%, 1/10 of the company's shareholders.
What they're going to do is, which they're already doing, they'll just say this guy likes the Orange Man guy, and his friend does also, and we're on the right side of history, and they'll try to appeal. And there's enough people that are stupid, and they don't know what's going on like we do. They don't pay attention to all this stuff, and I think that a lot of quote-unquote normies will just believe whatever Disney tells them, and they're presenting Nelson Peltz as sort of a court gesture, which is ridiculous because of how many shares he and Perlmutter own. But I'm just saying, it's one thing what we think is the right thing to do, and Disney hasn't been doing the right thing in a long time. So it's not really a shocker that they said that he couldn't get his seat today, and it's not a shocker that they're going to continue to fight this and do every trick in the book to make him go away.
Agreed. They will do everything they can to fight this, even though at this point they're at severe risk of.
The risk they have now is that if he finds some other parties, if he manages to grow his block more and more, if there's some disgruntled something happens, or if the stock keeps dropping, maybe he keeps buying more. Unless he grows stronger and finds more allies, they may just continue to do this to him.
Well, I mean, the thing is that in the world of business chess, I think Peltz is using time as his ally, not as like his, not like he's using time as an ally, not an immediate weapon. What do I mean by that? Well, let's just say that he loses in April. Well, we know one thing about Disney, which is that they're not going to make better movies that make money, right? Can we all agree on that?
Yes.
Yes.
We know that Disney Plus is not going to put out any quality TV shows that any of us are going to watch, let alone the mainstream public, right?
Well, some of us will because some people watch it for views, but yes, the majority of audiences will not watch
The
them. I
mainstream
get your
public,
point.
right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, and we know that the parks Culture will back me up on this. We know that the parks are not in any better condition. They are in worse condition year by year. And they are continue to degrade, and they make the wrong decisions like Tiara's ridiculous Minority Adventure instead of Splash Mountain. So we know that all of those things are going to continue to happen. Well, a guy like Nelson's pretty smart. He knows also that these things will continue to happen. So if I were him, I would sort of look at this like various rounds. So, basically what I would do is I would say, even if I don't win in April, I'm just going to give Bob and his team more rope to hang themselves, because then they can go for a class action lawsuit and kick everybody out and go full thermonuclear. See, this is still a fairly, this is not a hostile proxy fight. This is an unwelcomed and unwanted proxy fight. But as time goes on, it will get a little bit more hot. And if Nelson loses in April, what's he gonna do? A guy like this on that interview at CNBC, does he seem like the guy that's gonna like walk away and just take it? I don't think so. And there's a lot of more directions that this story is just starting. This battle could be going on for the next 2 years.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
How
looking
much
at
more
the
painful
small.
material?
I'm looking
What?
at the small numbers on the top of that spreadsheet. Onshore, offshore, Fund G. They're small, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, those are-
0.05%. If you have 100 of those, now you're looking at 5% of the company, and you're talking about a general advertising campaign. So is there a possibility of getting a lot, like a very, very large quantity of these very small percentages to add up?
Yeah.
Over time?
I think.
And if you, sorry, go ahead, Culture. I talked.
No, I was actually going to defer to you. Go.
If you assuming that a lot of these investors are on autopilot, having Nelson Pelt say, boom, I've got 10% of the company and Disney is ignoring my rights. If somebody is on the fence and they see that, okay, the Walt Disney Company is ignoring your rights, and the company is not going well, and he's compared them to the S&P 500, the market. There are index funds that literally just say, investors don't do a good job, so the market beats them. If you just invested in a little bit of every company that's in the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones Industrial, that you would do better. Yeah, that you would do better than these guys who are trying to do day trading and pick winners and losers and all that kind of stuff. So probably didn't need to define index fund here, but whatever. If enough people that are small shareholders get wind of the fact that the Disney company is on life support, because they have done a great job of marketing themselves as, oh yeah, according to Disney, Echo is the #1 series on Disney Plus and Hulu. I've heard of those. Those are what people watch some things on in my house. I guess that must be on a #1 streaming service, except that they're the #3 streaming service, and nobody watches it if you're above the age of 10. So Disney,
sorry. Go ahead, finish.
No, the Disney does do a good job of obfuscating, and I think an advertisement campaign to show that their stock is in the crapper is probably what's needed to wake up all those smaller investors.
Well, and they're not reaching the truly valuable customers that they need to with their advertising, because again, when you look at what's the #1 show on Disney Plus, Jonas, this is no brainer. Go
Bluey. Always
right.
Bluey.
And Slide.
Okay, and where does
Slide.
Yeah, and Nick would know too, right? Anybody who has young kids will know Bluey is the #1 stream thing on Disney Plus. Probably the only thing really truly streamed with any kind of zeal. So when you look at that, and then you look at who you're supposed to be advertising to, now you have an advertising department selling to kids that watch Bluey. What are you selling them? They're not buying nothing. They're not buying anything. They're watching Bluey. If you have the ad plan and you're watching these programs, and I don't even think you're allowed to advertise to kids in streaming, are you? I mean, isn't that part of COPA?
I think you technically have to, but it can't be personalized ads. You can't collect information in doing it. You
like curated.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can't curate the ads because you can't. It's this privacy involved because of COPA, COPA, which we all have to adhere to as YouTubers, by the way. But anyway, setting that aside, these are not legitimate customers that you're advertising to. You're wasting advertising dollars by directing advertising to kids between 4 and 12. That's wasted. That's wasted expenditure. And you're looking for that 1 out of 10 people that you reach, or 1 out of 20 people that you reach, if you're looking for a good ad, return. But on these streaming services, my argument would be you're getting like 1 out of 60 because it's probably closer to what they do on YouTube, or 1 out of 100. I don't know. What do you think? We actually know some, or Jonas knows some people that are in advertising. So what do you think?
Are you asking whether YouTube is a bigger streamer than all of them?
Oh, no, I know that. I'm saying, but your advertisement dollar doesn't go very far on Disney Plus. That's my entire point.
No, and Hulu is the place to go, and ESPN even more than that. But ESPN is not a streamer yet in the traditional sense of the word. Hulu is where you go. Hulu makes more revenue per user. Therefore, if we're double, by the way, what Disney Plus does. So if we want to reverse engineer that, that means that advertisers are paying a lot more money to put their ads on Hulu, because that's where the grown-ups are, and that's where the grown-ups are watching sitcom after sitcom, 12 episodes at a time of I don't know what's on Hulu. Is Frasier on there?
I don't know, but I know that the reason that they're going to combine with Project Hulk, the two platforms together, is because they want to obfuscate the fact that Disney Plus was never going to be profitable.
Yes, absolutely.
And when you buy advertising from Disney, and this is, secondhand, so you'll have to check me on it, you're buying a package of advertising on all of their products, just like when you were buying it on their cable service. So you don't necessarily get to pick and choose. Well, if you want platter A, you're going to have to take some of platter B and C. It's the same way they used to sell Super Bowl ads, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Anyway, and that's more than anybody wanted to know about the advertising business.
Waltman sends in $4.99, says, have to admit the new Indiana Jones game from Wolfenstein developers looks good. Whip combat is on point. I'll hold judgment until the game's out. I didn't think it looked all that great, actually, but did you guys see the trailer? Did anybody else check that out?
I didn't know that was coming up, but you got my attention. I mean, I would like to be in a world where a good Indiana Jones game is coming out, so you got my attention.
Well, Mikey's a big gamer.
Not lately, and I don't play those kind of games.
Well, if he does play more games, he'll have to accept even more that he's a YouTuber. So that's why he said,
"Oh, that's right. He doesn't want to be a YouTuber."
Really? Wow.
All right. So anyway, the reason I say that, as Mr. H brought up today on his stream, and I think Tom would agree, the cutscenes are usually the best thing about the game as far as visuals, and they're probably 4 times better than anything you're going to see in real time when you're playing the game. So for the cutscenes that are part of the trailer, I thought they were okay, but I think they looked very underpowered. If they were playing it on an original Xbox, maybe that was pretty good. If they're playing it on the modern Xbox Series X, I wasn't really impressed, and there was a lot of jittery delivery, and it looked very much like every Bethesda game does before it releases into a pile of rubble when you acquire it, and you have to wait for a day one patch and then all the DLC and the community to fix the game so you can play it. That's the problem. So I have low expectations, but I agree with you, Walt, man. There were elements that looked good, and I do think that the whip stuff looks great.
Now let's take a look at it. Okay.
Let me tell you what you are missing.
I'll just edit it out later.
Dr. Jones. While you were playing your pointless game, I was playing you.
Why does he sound like an Asian guy?
Maybe you should have built yourself a life of meaning instead of ending up here, dead and forgotten in the sense of Africa.
The animations are a bit stiff.
Myths. History.
Is that Harrison Ford?
Just different ways to interpret the past.
Oh,
And
no,
there's somebody
never
doing a
mind.
very
It's
good
not.
facsimile. Yeah, it's pretty good though.
Thousands of years of
Is that Vin Diesel?
humanity's thoughts.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like Vin Diesel.
Just waiting to be found.
You can't just run away from your
Wow.
problems, Indiana.
Marcus Brody.
Watch me. Throughout history, mankind has built sites of great spiritual significance. If you were to draw a line through these ancient sites around the globe, you get a perfectly aligned circle. I've had run-ins with these guys before. Trust me, it ain't a walk in the park.
Okay, then. Let's see if you can keep up.
What do you mean if I could keep up?
Oh yeah, we got a strong whammon.
Yay. We have a girl. Oh my God.
You know,
a girl boss.
Patron of the fallen angels, protector of the Chukulimani, the Great Circle. You have any idea how old that was?
I didn't mind the trailer up until we saw the girl boss.
The girl
And
boss.
I was just like, oh, great. Any mild interest I had is now, well, let me go flush a toilet.
I mean, as long as it's in the service of romance, it's probably not bad.
She wasn't all that good looking though for him, so I think she's going to be like a tough.
And she had the
Yeah.
weird
Tough
haircut
girl.
thing, the side haircut.
The undercut, yes, the SGU haircut special.
Yeah.
No, look, and
I
again,
learned-
the Walt man, I promise you I wasn't coming back at you hard there. I was just saying, I have low expectations of performance for the game, just
Okay.
because again, it's coming
Remember
from
when I said
Bethesda.
earlier in the show that
Mm.
everything now is a team effort? About now, look at that. Another game where it's not about Indiana Jones, it's now another team. They did it with the Spider-Man games, and they're probably going to do it with the Wolverine game too. That Wolverine game is pure bait, just so they can bring in Laura McKinney for X-23. That's all that it is. That's why they're putting out. They want to put out a Captain America and Black Panther game. It's just like no one needs that. Just give us a Captain America game and make a Black Panther game. We don't need them together.
I don't know a lot about this game, but in video games, it's kind of like with TV, it needs a good lead, like a good showrunner, somebody who can measure the ambition without getting too ambitious, because sometimes when you have a bad director on a video game, it gets too ambitious and the team cannot keep up with the ideas, and the quality of certain areas fails. Like, I like the trailer, right? But I noticed like the facial animations are a little bit stiff. Is that something that's going to get kind of flawed because they're spread too thin with too much ambition? The trailer had a lot of different set pieces, like the Japanese warplanes and the city, and then going to the Sphinx and all these different things. And it's like, if you're spread too thin, you simply can't be a master class of one thing. But I also kind of like some aspects of it. Looks like they could have some good puzzle design, some good set pieces. I don't know a lot about this game, but just like viewing the trailer, it kind of looks like it's a mid-70s. You know what I mean? It doesn't look awful, but it looks like it might have some problems. But I'll keep an eye on it now that but in video games, they need a director, just like anything. They need somebody who can really manage the team and get things moving efficiently.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to see how that rolls.
Yep.
Thank you, Walt man, for the super chat. Was there any other Disney business that we should address that we haven't already?
From the business standpoint, but I think you meant business in the general sense, but
Yeah.
I'm still going through the proxy statement. There's so much baloney in that thing. Again, going to be doing a live stream tomorrow night, going through it. Culture, I think, is going to be there. I think that there are depths of the drama that we're starting to uncover. One great thing about these proxy statements is they're required to discuss any meetings they've had with people who are suggesting things to the board. They didn't go deep into this Value Act guy, and there's a lot more that's going to come out about him. I think in the next few years, I have a source on that promises. Let's just say big things coming there. So I'll be going in depth. I'm not trying to hold things back to try to say, oh no, come watch my stream. But we still have research to do and citations to make on this in order to put it in a palatable format. But there's going to be a lot more coming out, not just today, but down the line.
So what's your take on all the Ray business, since you missed the earlier part of the show? I got to hear your thoughts on all the random news that's flying around.
I mean, the one that we ended up cutting out of that Park Place Live today that we didn't get to talk about is the fact that there's a rumor going around that the Sean Levy script was also going to be a Ray movie. So Gary from Nerdrotic said it really well. He thinks that there are two sets of people within Lucasfilm that are not talking to each other. And one of them says the Ray movie is not happening, and the other one says the Ray movie is definitely happening. I do think that there are two versions of this script that exists. I think that I would love to know the source of the Ray movie not happening rumor. Pro is that one didn't come from Pro. That one came from Jason Ward. And then the sources that are saying, and the ones that are closest to the trades are saying, no, the Ray movie is happening, which just by that very nature makes me say that sounds like that's probably a lie.
And as Price pointed out, the first person to come out and say it was that was it Jermaine Lucier,
from Gizmodo,
who Price has pointed out has several times run interference for Disney and Lucasfilm in the past. So
if it comes out in Vanity Fair that the movie is definitely happening, I think it's not happening.
All right. Well, anybody else got anything to say on Ray?
I will believe it when I see it. That's pretty much going to be my stance on anything Disney, Star Wars. I'll believe it when I see it. The only thing I know for a fact that we're going to get shoved down our throats is Acolyte. Well, and Skeleton Crew.
Indeed. So with that, was there any other news? I don't think there was. I think we kind of covered the basics.
Mm-hmm.
These have been short shows lately, but considering how big of a panel that we have, I'm kind of surprised.
Just wait until March, April pops back up. It's gonna ramp right back up, especially when you get those earnings calls. You'll be back at the 2 to 3 hour shows before you know it. Time moves, man.
Well, I mean, I've been sharing smaller bits of news on my Twitter, so always follow me on the socials, especially Twitter, to keep up to date. Make sure you're not missing any streams.
I think the biggest news you released today was that Shout Factory is giving you the fist of love.
They can go fuck themselves. They blacklisted me over some bad reviews.
Completely unacceptable. Shout Factory, I don't think they understand what an advocate you've been for them.
No, they don't. They don't even understand the amount of money I've spent on them. Mikey knows. And not only that, the snarky.
Oh, wait, do you want me to bring up the records and show everybody if we want to make the show longer?
Fine.
No.
Dude,
No,
they actually
give me 15 minutes. I can find the logins and bring it all up. The records. Hold on.
What was that, Klobby?
So you wait a minute. They've actually heard of you doing bad reviews, and that's why they.
Okay, well, here's what happens. Okay,
on a legit tell, explain to me what exactly happened, because I've been teasing.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Private DMs.
Okay,
but seriously, like, are you telling me that one of these places that you spend a lot of money on, literally, because like what happened, dude? It's like, seriously, because
I was trying to explain. Okay,
all right, I'll shut up.
I've had a couple problems with Shout Factory since April of last year. Not many, but a few. I would reach out to their customer service through their email on their website, and I would never get a response. But if you leave them a bad review on Trustpilot, there's a little motherfucker that'll be on there within an hour to 2 hours responding to you. In fact, I've had him running around like a little chicken with his head cut off all day today because I've been sitting on a bunch of reviews for Trustpilot waiting to figure out what the fuck's been going on. And he's claiming that I'm blacklisted because of antagonistic emails. Now, he has shared other emails of people that were blacklisted where they're calling them assholes and all kinds of other shit. He didn't share any of mine until today. And the closest thing he could come up with antagonistic is I said, I hope you choke on the extra few bucks you just made off me. Okay, so this transaction was the whole source of the problem to begin with. Because what happened was I ordered something and it went on sale literally the next day. So instead of giving me the sale price and combining my order with another order I had just made so that I could get free shipping, they ended up double charging me for shipping and getting the movies lost. Now, I did get my money back, but that's not the point. Since that point, they have been systematically canceling my orders. And it wouldn't be a big deal because I could get them from other places, but Shout Factory has exclusives that you can only get on their website. So now I am blocked from ordering anything on their website. I literally make an order. They take my money and then they refund my money and cancel my order.
They canceled you.
They have literally tried to cancel me. So it's all over these bad reviews on Trustpilot. There's some butthurt little bitch inside of fucking Shout Factory or Shout Studios, which they call themselves now since Jeff Nelson, one of the only decent fucking people there who fucking left recently. Ha ha ha. Yeah, that's why they fucking suck now. Because guess what? Ever since I posted this the other day, I have seen tons of people now come at me with, they are the worst customer service in the boutique Blu-ray community. They never answer anybody. They constantly have damaged goods. They are overpriced to the fucking hilt. And they have gotten nothing but worse and worse over the past year. Okay, there was a point where I couldn't even make an order on the website a year ago. That was the first time I ever complained to them. Because their website wasn't working right. And they would always try to have some excuse that would excuse them. See, they never take responsibility for anything. The only thing they did technically take responsibility for was charging me twice on the shipping and handling. But he just skated over that like it was nothing. Because he's still obfuscating and ignoring the fact that I was a customer who had a problem and they made it worse. And I'm somehow antagonistic because I told them to choke on the extra money that they just charged me.
Okay.
Evidently.
Wow.
So that's what's going on. I've literally been blacklisted.
Shit show.
Wow. Dude.
Can you use a VPN and a false name?
There's probably a few things I can do. Right now, I'm at that point. It's like, do I want to give them any more money or do I want to just keep giving them bad press? See, because I've had issues in the past where, I've tried to deal with things and now you hear out from people like Kino Lorber and other Arrow and other companies. And I've dealt with it and I've had no problems with the customer service people getting back to me eventually. In fact, Kino Lorber has been so great that I've been on the phone with them at least 3 or 4 times. And they've made sure that not only I've gotten my orders, but they've combined orders and done all kinds of things to go out of their way. Right? Shout Factory they're almost like antagonistic and elitist. And it's getting to the point where it's like, you may think your shit don't stink, but guess what? There's a reason why you're losing ground to all these other fucking boutique companies. But anyway, I know most of you don't give a shit about this, but yeah.
Well, I was concerned. I was curious about it for sure.
No, it sounds annoying.
Company.
That's horrible.
I bet it's someone that doesn't like one of the things, something that you said on. It's exactly what you said. There's somebody in house that doesn't like you for your opinions, and they're just fucking with you.
They're basically they're like Disney, but as customer service.
Yep.
I mean, aside from Robert Meyer Burnett on Sundays, when we actually do 4K for you, we are probably one of the more viewed ones, and we do have people like Bill Hunt and stuff like that on who make us, a little bit more legit than some of the other guys. So I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't checked in Mikey from time to time, and I have been one of the people to point out certain things they fucked up on in the past.
It's possible.
So it's very, very possible because they're stretching to find something to get me blocked on. I got like the last couple of my shipments late last year. And then as of the first of this year, they've been just systematically canceling all my orders. And I missed out on a site exclusive because of it.
Wow.
But yeah, I'll find a way around it if I really, really want to.
Yeah.
Before we go, we got some
bro.
generous super chat
around to
here.
it.
Yeah, but it's pinned to my Twitter, guys. If you want to go ahead and like and retweet it, that'll definitely get their attention, because the more attention they get on a place like Twitter, they can't ignore it, right? Like, that's the thing. The Trust Pilot thing, nobody even knows where to find that. And the fact that they're even that butthurt by that is alarming to me. But yeah, what pissed him off today is I was sitting on a bunch of reviews for the stuff that I had gotten in November and December. So I just went through and gave them all a bunch of 1-star reviews today and bitched about it. And I knew it within 2 minutes, 2 hours, sometimes not even less. Fucker would be right on there fucking responding. Yeah. Anyway, Warrior Justice sends in $10. Thank you so much, Warrior Justice. We appreciate that. Hey, everyone, and Casino. So why is it everyone and Casino?
Look, Warrior of Justice really loves me. That's a lot of respect.
I guess
right
so.
there.
What do you call a little Mexican? A paragraph that he is not a full essay yet.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was probably one of your best ones, Warrior
Dude, that's
Justice.
one of the best jokes I've ever heard.
That is really good.
And this one I've actually heard before. If a paraplegic tells you a story, is that a veggie tale? Oh, yeah, I've actually heard that one before.
Wow,
Thank you, Warrior Justice. Those were pretty
rough.
good today. Waltman4 sends in another $1.99. Says most of the news is mostly elections talk now. Yeah, that's the other problem.
We're ready for a year of it. So
yeah,
Hey,
get ready.
but I promise you, we will try to talk about not the elections.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
ActionCom asks, what does a Blu-ray get you? Sometimes it sounds like I should just get the original DVDs and leave it at that. Well, it depends on what we're talking about here.
Dude, I got to tell you,
this
some
is
of
a
the
very
audio
nuanced conversation. Yeah.
I had this. Alex, one of the first things I asked you like a year and a half ago when and you turned me on to the fact that it depends on the bonus. This is what you told me. It depends on what's on those bonus things, and then you also said you can do things on those Blu-rays with audio that you are not the same on a regular traditional DVD.
Well, there's that, and there's just so much more space and room and things you can do on a Blu-ray than you can do on a DVD. The quality with HD and then 4K, even more so. I mean, it's just. Again, and it also depends on where it's mastered from, how it's been mastered, and that's why we have our show, to answer all those questions, as they come up. So yeah, were you going to say something, Price or Jonas?
No, I was going to say with kids too. The Blu-rays have a thicker coating on them that are scratch resistant.
That does help. In fact, they actually do in some cases. Now, special features, not so much, sadly, and menus And here's the problem with this ActionCom, and this is one thing we've learned with talking to Bill Hunt of the Digital Bits, and of course Robert Meyer Burnett, as you know, who used to work on a lot of Blu-ray extras and stuff. All those people that used to do that stuff are no longer part of the industry. They've been replaced by marketing people who have no idea about any of this shit. And he'll be the first, like Robert will be the first to bitch about this stuff, because there's several times over where we'll have situations where a lot of these special features will just get lost to time, because they get, lost on a third or fourth release ago, on DVD or something like that. For a while there, they were pretty good about carrying everything over, but then now with more newer releases, they don't. And I think it's just to save money. So sadly, like sometimes the only reason I keep a DVD around is because it has special features on it that aren't on a newer edition. But yeah. Warrior Justice sends in 5 and says, if a black man beats his meat, is that black on black crime? That one's not so good there. And Casino knows I hate him and love Mexican Tony. I don't think his name's Tony, though.
I don't think that's true, Warrior of Justice. I know you.
He's not. Well, Tony Stark, I guess. Why do you hate culture?
Well,
there is no hate. It's nothing but love. I know how much Warrior Justice loves me.
Yeah. Come on now.
He evidently does not.
I don't believe that.
I can't believe that.
You know why I love culture?
His hair.
No, because we had a good talk about earlier in this year, and ever since that talk, his channel's been freaking cranking. Although I will not give myself credit, but I will say I'm proud of him.
You got to
give yourself credit. What Mike is not telling all of you is that he secretly
He's a
runs
YouTuber.
He secretly runs the internet.
No, what? No.
Every day on my fax machine, I get my marching orders from Mexican Iron.
No, Mikey can make more happen within 15 minutes in a phone call than I ever could.
What? No.
Yes. And not only that, as you're reminded by Grok. However, there is a popular YouTuber known as the Mexican Iron Man.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Who shares his name with the
You
same.
screen captured that?
Well, it's on Twitter. I don't have to, but of course I will.
Freaking Grok is such a liar.
You posted this.
Well, it's because I didn't think I'd get that answer back. I thought, like, literally, I was like, what are the odds that it? I mean, okay, all right. So, I mean, it's reasonable to assume that if I ask
You're more
Grok,
popular than I am, probably.
who's Mexican Iron Man, I'm going to get, we don't know who that is, does not compute. I have no idea. Stupid Grok. I got to talk to Elon. Someone get me in touch.
Grok knows everything. Grok reads the entire internet.
Someone get me in touch with
and is
Grok.
able to decipher that you are extremely popular.
He runs around dressed like Tony Stark, but really, he's more like Nick Fury of the internet, of YouTube.
I told you. You guys think I'm kidding. Every day on my fax machine, I get my marching orders from Mexican Iron Mike.
No, you're making shit
Which
up.
makes me like the Black Widow, which is weird, but yeah.
Yeah.
God, no.
Yeah.
He still makes me use a beeper.
Yeah.
I'm not nearly as sexy.
Oh. All I know is that, look, whatever Mike's been sending me has been working. You know, sometimes it's hard to read the pages. It means I have to replace the toner. But it works. It works.
Kitty Bear asks with €2, where is Mike's elf reviews?
Oh, good question.
Non-existent?
Well, we got to start reviewing these. I'll review them with you.
Dude, they're downstairs. Those out DVD. Who, by the way, who sent me those? You know what?
Shout
It's gotta
Factory made those, by the way.
Well, someone sent them to me, and it's got to be someone from Midnight Edge or Midnight Edge After Dark.
I didn't do it. Maybe I did. I don't remember.
Notice there was not a breaking of the seal video for those.
I'm surprised you didn't get multiple copies, to be honest with you. In fact, I think I coordinated with some people. I think I remember who it was now.
I got one full set, and it's all of them. It's like a complete.
Yeah, you didn't even get the big set that I got. I got the one with all the goodies and shit in it. Anyway, Warrior Justice says that's right. It has that record.
Baby, you're the one that's
he goes.
out
I
of
like
this
just messing with Casino. Love you, bro. Okay,
Love
so
you too.
he's super sticker from Jesus Davila. Thank you so very much, Jesus. It is not
Did you
coming
hear
up on
about
the other end here.
Did you hear about Hercules?
Hercules. It's a thumbs up. What about Hercules now?
Hercules. Guy Ritchie's not going to make Hercules now.
Good. Nobody wants
Good.
that.
Nobody needs that.
All right.
Good.
We got enough Hercules movies.
Yeah. Especially Guy Ritchie.
I got two of them with not Dolph Lundgren, but Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
Hercules.
Arnold Schwarzenegger made one, I
And then
think.
one recently, like with
Yeah,
Ratner.
The Rock.
Rock or whatever. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, that was even like 5-10 years ago now, wasn't it?
Then he popped up for like a split second, the Marvel version in the end of Love and Blunder.
That's true.
That was Hereticules.
Yeah. He actually sort of looked like the comic, Marvel version of him, but they wouldn't get him right anyway.
Hercules.
You flicked too hard, Clobby.
That was the flick too hard. Saying disturbing. I was hoping no one would mention that, but still, and again, I like the Marvel version of the character.
That
but
started a big bunch of shit the other night on Toxic Film talking about
Oh
that.
Lord.
There was some guy who was so butthurt about that. I feel bad for him because he sent a bunch of super chats about it, but it's like,
what?
What was wrong?
yeah,
with
he was calling it assault and stuff. It's like, dude, it's not so much
What?
that as it is the imbalance of sexy women. And he's like, oh, he was bound and stripped. It's like, that's assault. And I'm like,
Well,
it
I
was
mean-
a joke, dude.
Yeah, but he's not wrong. I mean, it's just it's like telling somebody to strap on. I mean, strap in.
Whoa.
I hope
think
there's
they're
a
remotely
memer
the
out
same.
there that clipped that.
I'm not even sure they're remotely the same.
I don't know. We just watched it. That was in a Disney movie.
I'm not saying that. I'm just never mind.
There'll be adjuncts to it.
Weird.
I blame Mike.
Is it
I always
weird
blame
though?
What?
I blame Mike.
For what?
I don't know. Jonas is trying to leave.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got to get out of here anyway. So, Jonas, why don't you go ahead and start us off? Go ahead and plug your wares.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I'm from That Park Place, and we cover entertainment,
What
streaming,
Park
theme
Place?
parks, and video games. In That Park Place.
Which one?
It's a Park Place. I'm doing a live stream tomorrow at 10 p.m. I hope I come out with some video sometime soon, but the news is coming so fast that I don't think I have time to actually report on the things that I'm learning here. But yeah, 10 p.m. tomorrow, I'll be going through the proxy statement. There'll be lots to talk about. I think Culture is going to be there. And maybe I can get Andrew from the Legal Mindset on if he's up by now. Maybe I
try
need
to
text him.
try to get this Mexican Iron Man fella. He's
Well, I am not staying up past 8, 9 o'clock to
Mi
stream.
hermano mexicano, por favor.
No,
Por favor.
fuck no, I am not staying up late night to stream.
Yo necesito tu ayuda.
No, I already do that one day a week with Doomcock, and I do not like streaming at night. Nope.
You do not
Por
like
favor.
green eggs and ham.
¿Por qué, hermano? ¿Por qué?
Because
I
I
know
like to
that's
guess
not
what?
true.
Because I'm not a YouTuber, and B, I like my sleep.
Okay,
Yeah,
will
but
you
that's
tune
not
in?
true. You used to hang out with us on Loki's show every Friday night.
Not anymore. That's why I love the show. I can't do that shit. I stayed with you, yo-yos, till 11 or 1 o'clock, having a good time like we would do if we were at a bar. Next thing you know, we're laughing, we're having a good time, we're talking nerd shit, and then I can't go to bed at 1 in the morning. Next thing I know, I'm up till 3 or 4, and then the next day I'm not up till noon. No.
Warrior Justice says woke Hercules will be called Hercuntal.
This guy's on fire. Who is this guy? He's on fire.
Thank you very much for having me on, Tom. It's been a blast.
Hercuntles? Would that be actually more correct?
Well, maybe, but Jonas, I know you're trying to get out of here, but you owe me an interview.
I do. I would actually.
So
have said
Jonas,
yes to-
give him a hard time. He's got time to stream at night, but he can't stream with you in the afternoon.
The problem is I got to put kids to bed before I
That's
can.
right.
He's
stream.
got a family and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I can cut him.
You're
slack,
just
Mikey.
chasing around married women, Mikey. We know.
Well, an unmarried one too.
Look how
I mean,
sexy he looks, though. Like,
I know.
think sometimes they
Lately,
chase him.
have you?
he's getting all like sexy now.
He lost weight, and he's fit, and he got a sharp
looking
haircut.
so good.
and
Look at him.
and somebody else is cutting his beard. I mean, come on.
He's a sexy beast. Look at that.
It sounds like he's making some. Sounds like he's making some of you moist.
He is
Oh,
making
my
most of
goodness.
us moist.
I'll
But anyway,
talk to
thank you for
guys
being here,
soon.
Jonas. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Love you,
Bye.
sir.
So Mikey, what you got going on next?
Dinner?
They Themocles, says Warrior Justice. That I like.
They
Oh, I
them
like that
please.
one.
Okay, I'm going to use that joke.
Oh,
Well,
Warrior-
her is already in Hercules. They don't need to change it. They'll just change the sex of the character. It's Hercules.
They just need a dash.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, well, look, I'm tired of all the herstory I'm having to learn. So
Yeah, like Hercules. See,
I still like they them Achilles. I think
They
that's-
Themcules is good. That is
Yeah.
very good, though.
I think you're onto something.
Yeah, I think
Please
Neil's
don't give
right.
them ideas. Yeah. I know.
Anyway, CC, what you got going on? You gonna try and do karaoke this week? I know I missed out on it last week. I was so sad.
Yeah, it was pretty cold here last night or last week, at least by here standards, anyways. But yes, that is the plan tomorrow night. Hopefully, if Loki's is on, then we'll go to Loki's late show at 8 p.m. Pacific, and then karaoke at 10 p.m. Pacific. Well, we'll butcher songs and have fun.
They them Achilles.
That's pretty good.
I know.
Wow.
All right, Price, what you got going on?
Still stuck with this Star Wars video. It's like what Jonas was saying. I think what you were saying that everybody was running into is that every time I try to put this video together, there's just so much other nonsense happening with Star Wars. So I can never finish it. It's like a never-ending video.
It is this week. I was like, I just made the video and went, forget it. I ain't adding anything. It's just done. It's coming out. You just suffer with it. But no, this whole week's been ridiculous. We can't complain because we have had plenty to talk about. It's just all been Star Wars or Rey. I can't tell you how many Rey thumbnails I made.
Oh,
It
don't
seems
even
like
give me
there's
this
just
idea.
so much chaos there. This is what chaos looks like when a whole week we can't even make just a video talking about something because every second some other weird thing that conflicts what we just said comes out.
Exactly.
It's the ultimate chaos, really. So I'll put some video up. I have Quantum Leap tonight at 10 p.m. Quantum Leap Revisited.
Oh, nice.
Anybody that likes that show, it's on my live channel. Script Doctor will hopefully be there along with some other people. Should check it out.
Yeah, and check out his channel. It's awesome. I love this guy. I've been supporting this dude for a while. So
I mean, we've known each other for a long time, and I think you've been watching from kind of early on, which is really cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, love it.
Your channel's good too, but you don't need my compliments. You're getting you keep growing like very rapidly. So
no, look, that's all Mike Mexican Iron Man's thing. I mean, he is making me grow like weed. The guy runs the internet. I take my marching orders every day from him.
God.
Yeah.
Dearest sends in $5. Says Hercules is named after Hera by his mortal mother.
Yep.
The Hercules variant would be used to gaslight, saying he was always trans or woman. Exactly, dearest. You're thinking ahead.
You nailed
thinking
it.
ahead. Do
Dude, I'm
not
convinced
forget
this
my
cat could write
pronouns.
better.
I am a Hershey. Want to see my bar?
Oh no!
My chocolate bar. Oh, my dark chocolate bar.
That's right, baby.
It's got a cream filling. Oh gosh, that's too far. Too far.
Now
Too
that's
far.
the stuff.
I had one final comment to Mikey. Mikey, tú eres el jefe grande.
He is.
That's the best Spanish I've heard from anybody all night.
Wow.
Thanks, man.
¿Cómo va besa eres tú?
Yo hablo poco español.
Muchísimas gracias, amigo. Basically, he said that I'm the, I guess, big
You're
boss.
the big boss, baby. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, you're the
el
big
jefe
boss.
grande.
Boss.
Yeah.
Jefe
You guys
grande.
are like
We just called Mike El Jefe.
Thanks for the compliments. You guys are making me feel bashful.
You are sexy.
Oh, you
You're
don't want
one sexy
dwarfs.
essay.
You see what they did to them dwarfs?
What dwarfs?
The dwarfs. He said he was bashful. I'm
Dwarfs.
like, you don't want to be one of them guys. They ruined him.
You said dwarfs.
I
You said
did.
dwarfs.
He said dwarfs.
Dwarf.
Yeah, bashful's one of the dwarfs, Mikey.
More time knows.
You were dying to play that.
I don't know. I just do whenever. We got Warrior Justice again with $2. Says minor attractive person. Oh, Nicholas. Yeah, well, that is Disney in a handbasket, is it
Ooh,
not?
especially lately. Hooey.
Yes. Speaking
Oh.
of dwarves, comics division's coming up later.
That's right.
I think Culture and I, maybe Nick will be there. Is that where you're going to be, Nick? What's going on with you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's where I'm going to come. Yeah, in 1 hour.
All
on
over your face,
TNT.
neck, and chest.
1 hour.
Yes, in 1 hour. I'll be on TNT. We'll be talking about the great cancellation of
Dynamite.
She-Hulk. No. We'll sing the rest later. But anyways, yeah, I put out a video earlier today.
Oh, good for you. And how
With
was it?
Oh, it was great. It was fantastic. I did a video with Ironcast and Aaron Sparrow. We talked the new Cobra Commander G.I. Joe comic. So go check out my video on that. Of course, Comic Shop Talk tomorrow night. We'll hang out the dudes, geeking out, drinking, talking comics.
Commander.
It's gonna be
Something, wasn't it?
huge. And if you're someone who watches Naturally Clubby's Clubhouse, stick with your plan. Thanks for having me, Tom, and hope to see a lot of you in an hour.
All right. Clubby. What do we got going
Excuse
on?
me. Oh, but in right over an hour, I'll have the clubhouse with my wonderful first officer, the amazing Commander R.M. Briggs, and the great Mark D. with a C. We'll have our usual Blake 7-episode review, Star Trek comic review, and many other crazy geeky clubhouse things with an amazing chat and a great group. And come over and join us if you are of mind to. We'd love to have you. And of course, Saturday night Star Trek. Oddly enough, on Saturday night. On Friday nights, by the way, I'm sorry.
It's on Saturday?
Well, I've just decided. I'm thinking about moving it to Saturday.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So anyway,
From
there we go.
Saturday?
From Saturday to
Okay.
Saturday.
Okay.
Because Saturday is good. You know, it's a pretty good day, but Saturday's kind of all right, but I've had some issues with it. But Saturday is the best, I think.
I think you're right.
Thank you.
Check out Clobby's
right.
show. Clobby's great.
Yeah.
Raquel's awesome. I love them both. So
Thank
there
you,
go.
buddy. We appreciate
Warrior Justice sends in another $2. Says, please do not come, casino, on Themocles. Or they Themocles. The soul of they Themocles hanging over my head.
Dude, I have turned red like 5 times. You guys are making me laugh. I love it.
Woe's me. All right, get ready, guys. Culture, what do you got going on? Set your clocks.
All right. Comics Division coming up next. We are going to go live on the what do we call it? Thursday Night Throwdown. And then tomorrow I have the 6-minute daily in the morning, which is going to be about 12 minutes tomorrow. Then it's Midnight's Edge in the morning. And then I have my interview show. I think Nick's my guest tomorrow. And then I've got a couple other things to do. And then I'm going to be on with Jonas tomorrow night. So there you go.
15 seconds. You pull it off. Not
Excellent.
bad. Not bad. And me, I will show up somewhere. I never know. What do you got going on, Jay? Good talk.
Jay, buddy, you're on.
I got molested in the little boy's room.
That happens too often.
Yeah.
All right, kids.
Did he go to Disney?
Don't forget. I don't know. That was not Steve Gutenberg, but it looks like him. Don't forget to check out Flip City Magazine. Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke. Wow.
This is
Don't
actually a really
worry.
good magazine.
Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times
Mikey
a
has
year,
it.
you'll get an actual
Do you?
printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine,